Enjoy your meeting.
6 on your phone, that will mute you.
Just a reminder, today's meeting is being recorded.
Hello and welcome to Living Well Now's Wednesday Wisdom Call. Today we're going to be talking to Katie Strong, and by the way, this is Andrea Lehman, part of the Leadership with Living Well Now team. And we get to talk with Katie Strong today, who just last month earned the rank of Gold with Young Living. And she is currently a, well, she'll tell you more about this, but kind of stay-at-home working mother. She has a full-time job aside from Young Living to a 2 or 3-year-old boy. I think he's still 2. You'll hear more about that. But she has done a phenomenal job in supporting a growing team that is growing quickly, all the while being a mom to a very small child and working full-time. So I'm just excited to have her on because I know that there are some of you out there who are in the same situation that she is in, where you're working another job, you have children, and it's just so hard, or seems so hard, to figure out how to make everything work and how to find balance in this. So I'm going to turn it over to Katie right now. Would like to start, Katie, just by hearing a little bit about your journey. And would you share about how, just from when you started using oils and that one time when I came over to your house with Leanna and what you said to us? I just want to hear a little bit about that too.
Okay.
So go ahead, Katie.
Yeah, so we got introduced to Young Living, I guess 2 years now. When I got pregnant with Jake, we were trying to be more conscious of chemicals and, things in our environment, and starting to buy what we thought was green products. And soon learned that they weren't so green. They still had all the harsh chemicals. And through that process, we took the Bradley Method class, which is a natural childbirthing class. And there was another couple in that class. We hosted the class at our house, and it was Leanna and Greg.
Go ahead and push *6 on your phone. That will mute you. Those of you who are listening in, if you just joined us and didn't hear me say that before, go ahead and push *6, and that will mute your phone. Thank you. Go ahead, Katie.
Yeah. Through the childbirthing class together, and our Jake and Madison were born only 3 days apart. So they're kind of going through the same developmental changes about the same time. And Leanna had posted on a mom's group about natural options for teething. And you, Andrea, had brought her, I believe, clove oil. And she called me up. She's like, "You've got to try this stuff. It is amazing." And, we were doing some classes at the time, and she's like, "This stuff is awesome." So she had a class that you taught. I went to it. I don't think I bought my kit for a while. I honestly didn't think I would use them that much, or as much as I do, but I remember leaving the class thinking they were awesome, and then just kind of like, as things would come up, like, oh, I could have used lavender for this, or frankincense for that. And so I finally got the kit, and when you and Leanna came over to do my follow-up, you asked me, I forget exactly, something about the business, if I was interested in it at all, and I said, absolutely not. Like you said, I have a full-time career. I have been with the same company since I graduated college, and I honestly could probably see myself just, the rest of my career.
I'm going to stop you right there, Katie, for a second. For all of you listening in, and for all of you that will listen to this recording later, you heard that. She said she was not interested in this business. She is a gold. She's a gold with Young Living currently. She was not interested in this business. So remember that, and take with a grain of salt when people tell you they're not interested, because you never know who's going to come back around. So go ahead, Katie.
And so then shortly after that, I don't remember the time frame, maybe a few months after that, you guys were doing Duplication Nation, and I had some of my friends kind of asking me because we were kind of more naturally minded out of our group of friends, and so they were kind of asking me if I use oils, and I was like, yeah, I don't really know anything about them, so I had you come over and do a class, and even at my first class, I don't think anyone signed up, not even my own mother, and so I had, I think, maybe a few people under me eventually, but again, still not interested at all from a business perspective. And you guys were starting Duplication Nation. And Leanne, I think, had asked us to watch Madison during Duplication Nation. And it was a 10-week, I think 2 hours every Thursday night. And I was talking it over with Scott. And he's like, well, what is she going to? And I was like, oh, it's some business class. And he's like, well, you should go. And I'm like, no, I don't. It's 10 weeks. Like, I don't want to go to a 10-week business class. Like, I don't. He's like, well, just go check it out. Like, who knows? Maybe you might like it. And we drew the circles, I think, probably every week at Duplication Nation or close to it. And so just seeing that over and over, I was like, oh, you can make more than a few $100s a month at this. And opened my eyes quite a bit more. And when Amy Marble, which most of you guys know Amy Marble, when she had such a great experience with the oils after sharing with her, and she decided she wanted to do it as a business, and I was still kind of like, nah, I don't know. And she's like, well, you've already got a business builder under you, so you might as well. I guess between Amy and my husband, that's why I
So what you're saying is you got dragged into this business.
Yeah.
Okay.
I was saying no to everything. I was saying no to everything, and they were telling me to say yes. And so it was really after that I felt like, okay, well, we're kind of coming into this at the same time. I feel like I need to support her, so I kind of just started trying to learn as much as I could so I could, try and be a good support and upline for her. And that's kind of how we got into the business, went to convention. Again, said I would not go to convention, and my husband once again said, oh, no, those are way fun. You should go. So,
Can you give your husband a hug when you get off the phone, please? Because he's been pretty instrumental in this whole journey.
Yes, he has.
Okay, so share with us, because Katie, you have done a really good job at growing a large team, a team that respects you and looks up to you. But I'm sure that it hasn't all been roses. Obviously, you struggled to actually get into the business. But what are some other struggles that you have seen along the way as you've started building in this last year and a half?
Yeah, well, definitely the balance and time management, I would say, are the biggest ones. Because you're trying to build a large organization, so you want to be a good support to your team, but then you also have a full-time job that can be very demanding at times. And I work from home, for those of you that don't know, so I do have somewhat of a flexible schedule, but like I have to go out and meet clients still and travel some as well. So I do have a little bit of flexibility, but what that flexibility normally turns into is me just working a lot at night. And so finding that balance between obviously still being able to be a good wife and mom to Scott and Jake, but then also just juggling work stuff and Young Living stuff and being able to support my team and find the time to do everything.
So what have you learned along the way? Not that we're ever going to have this balance and time management thing perfect, but what is some tip or trick you've picked up along the way that has helped some?
Yeah, well, Scott obviously being on board helps because he, has stepped up a lot at home and does a lot of that stuff. But I'm still working on trying to have a system in place and trying to, I know it sounds silly, but trying to make it so I don't have to think so much.
Mm-hmm.
So like I have a bag packed for intro classes. When Amy hurt her knee, she called me up and she's like, hey, I'm doing this intro class. I just blew out my knee. You know, can you fill in? So I was able to just grab that bag and go. I keep lists on the notes section of the
Hello?
phone. Yeah, can you hear me?
Did we lose you?
I'm here.
Let's see.
I'm here.
All right, those of you on the call.
Can you hear me? Hello? Uh-oh. Hello? Can you hear me? Andrea? Hello? Hello?
Katie, it's Pam. I can hear you, but I don't know if Andrea can hear you because I can't hear her.
Okay, I'm going to try calling in on my cell phone. Let's see.
I can hear you too.
Oh, you can?
I can
That's
hear you
so weird.
too.
I can't hear Andrea either anymore. Let me try my
Well,
cell phone.
Wow, okay, so I somehow got dropped.
Okay, can you hear me?
I can hear you. Were you hearing me before?
Yeah, and then all of a sudden I didn't.
Okay, weird. All right, so we're just going to pick up there.
Okay. So I make lists on my phone. Again, just trying to cut any thinking out of it. So I just use the Notes app on my iPhone and just keep a list of stuff that I need to do or follow up or books I need to order. And,
Awesome. Okay, if you're on the call, go ahead and *6 yourself if you haven't done that yet. I am hearing a little bit of conversation. We just want to make sure everybody is able to hear. Okay, so Katie, so I heard list making, having a bag ready to go for classes. So those are two things that, and working at systems that take the thinking
out of it, yeah. And then I do a lot of, I try and do a lot of stuff in the car, so mostly phone calls and personal development. And if you don't have a personal development habit, that's really key in this business. And when I first started kind of doing the business, I was like, I don't need personal development. I have to do stuff for work, But when I got it and started doing it, I saw a huge shift in my business when I really started talking with my team about it and they started getting that personal development habit. I saw a huge shift in them. So I listen to audiobooks while I'm driving. I would say 90% of the time, 95% of the time. I very rarely listen to the radio. And I'll listen to the same audiobook over and over. I can't tell you how many times I've listened to GoPro because I want to be able to master it and just have it start coming off naturally without having to try and remember what the wording is or anything. So I really try, especially if it's a good audiobook, listen to it over and over. I'm not a huge reader, so I'm more likely to listen to something over and over rather than read a book over and over. So I try and I just really try and fit it in wherever I can. I usually have a book, this may be TMI, but I usually have a book in the bathroom that I try and read, a page every time I go to the bathroom. That's
not TMI, I have one of those too.
Yeah.
Actually, I think Ula's in the bathroom right now.
Yeah, that's how I got building an empire. It may take me longer, but you can probably get 10 pages in or so. But I use a lot of time in the car, looking ahead at my work calendar to see what the weeks ahead look like. And I can tell if it's just going to be a crazy week where I'm working, till midnight on my regular job. So I know that Young Living is going to be a lighter week. And I'll try and work ahead so I can have more balance there, but sometimes that's difficult just because the way my job is. And trying to prioritize lists too, you know, must-dos compared to like nice-to-dos, you know, get the important stuff done first. And I've had stuff that is nice to do on my list for quite a while. I just haven't gotten to it.
Right. I have the same thing. I like what you said a little bit ago about mastering it. You were talking about listening to GoPro and that you don't even know how many times you've listened to it because your goal is to master it. I know that and I love that because I think that so many people come into this business and they think that they can just kind of, you know, what's that phrase? Fly from their hip. What's the word I'm looking for? Anyway, that they don't have to learn anything and that they can just go and build this massive business. And what I've found and what it sounds like you have found too is that that's not how it works. You said that your business started growing, you know, exponentially once you started investing in yourself and investing in learning skills. And I found the same thing. It was about 9 months into my business when I decided to really, 12 months into my business where I decided to get really serious about personal development. And there was a huge shift for me as well. So I think sometimes we have a tendency to undervalue the importance of taking the time for that personal development and really keying in on just some specific things that work well. So I love that GoPro has worked for you, it's worked for your team, and so you've zeroed in on that and you listen for the intent of mastering it. Will you share a little bit about what you did with your team, the competition that you had on your team with GoPro?
Yeah, so Scott and I had both listened to GoPro and thought it was awesome and thought it was something that our team needed to hear and that we wanted them to master as well. So we ran a little incentive. I think we did it for 60 days, and you can find the link for GoPro free on YouTube. So you didn't need to spend any money, but you could spend a few dollars and get the book or the audiobook. And whoever listened to it the most over that 60 days, I think we did a free bottle of Ningxia Red. And you could just from talking with my team, you could see, again, their mindset change and it just be more natural for them to what I call GoPro people. And it was, I think, a really good, big success. Bethany Franz is the one that won the competition. I think her business grew like 210% or something over that 60-day period. So just a huge shift. And like I said, Scott and I were like, our team needs to listen to this. How do we get them to listen to it? And who doesn't like Ningxia Red? And, it's a way to introduce another product to our downline as well, with, really minimal cost from our perspective. So, yeah.
So awesome. And that you could see the difference in people. So that's a really great, those of you that are listening in, I would jot that one down. That is a great little incentive to run for those on your team who are currently building. It doesn't matter where you are. You might be a star right now and you have one person who's showing interest, Come up with an incentive for that one person, and you do the same thing. So I love the idea of always modeling what you're asking the people on your team to do, and you're doing that, Katie, so very cool. Anything else you've learned along the way, either just about the business in general or how it works, or about yourself along the way? Any other insights in the last year and a half?
Well, definitely just with personal development. You're going to grow from that. I noticed taking stuff that I've learned from personal development for network marketing and using it in my regular job and, saying certain things and like our last staff meeting and the verbiage that I used. And I work with a bunch of guys, and they're older, and some of them have been around forever. And you could tell they just kind of looked at me like, oh, well, why didn't we think of this put it that way. So you can see it coming over into like my regular job and career. So yeah, I mean, you can't help but listen to it and grow as a person. You'll start dreaming. We go up to my father-in-law's house at Lake Wawasee in Indiana, and, you know, we used to go up there and we'd go on walks or runs in the morning and just like, wow, these houses are so nice. And now it's like, well, you know, we could have one of these. Like, which one would you like? Would you want to be on a channel, or would you want to be on the, you know, main lake? Or we could start small and kind of build your way up. So, and what we could use it for, and, you know, how we could let other people use it. So it just, like, it lets you dream again. It lets you, you know, just grow as a person. You'll see it kind of tinkering into other areas of your life as well, not just your Young Living business.
So that was a great lead into my next question, which is, what are you most excited about as you continue on this journey? You know, just having hit the rank of gold last month. Obviously, I know that you don't have any reason to stop. You know, you're going on for the next level. So what are you looking forward to most?
It's really exciting to see people on your team rank up, especially silver, because that is such like a jump in pay. So I've gotten more excited for everyone on my team that's hit silver than when I hit silver or even gold. But I'm really excited, too, to be able to use the Jim Rohn phrase that I'm making more money on my part-time business than I am on my full-time job. Would you like to hear my story?
That's awesome. And I don't think it's going to be long for you, Katie, before you're going to be able to say that. So that's really cool.
I think that's cool to be able to say.
Really cool. I love it. And you actually kind of sounded like him, which means that you've listened to that CD a lot.
I think it's probably word for word.
So before we end the call, any tips that you have for new business builders who might be listening in?
Yeah, so I guess just be here a year from now. And I think one of the reasons you'll get to be here a year from now is personal development. And start that habit right from the beginning, because that's when you need it. You'll learn, or you'll be prepared for the ups and downs. You'll be prepared when no one shows up to a class. You'll know that that's just part of what happens. We've all had it happen. Andrea, I'm sure you've probably had it happen. You know, I know.
More than once.
Yeah, I remember hearing Connie saying that Michael used to drive, 3 hours and do a class for one person, and, they're making $300 a month or whatever. So it prepares you for that stuff. It builds that belief in the business to where now I think, why isn't everyone doing this? They're crazy. It prepares you for people not understanding network marketing and, kind of thinking that you're an idiot for doing it. So just kind of prepares you for that, but really just be here a year from now, because you will be amazed at what changes in a year. A year ago, I was senior star. I didn't look and see what my paycheck was, but I don't even remember what my OGV was, and I remember feeling like I was at senior star forever, forever. So I could have easily just quit and been like, I've got a really great job, so I'm just going to keep, working 40, 50, 60, 70 hours a week, for the next 30 years or so. And I would have probably been fine doing that. So be here a year from now, do your personal development, and start your personal development habit from the very beginning of your business and master what you are listening to or reading, so it just becomes second nature.
So awesome. Katie, thank you so much for being on this call today. I know, I don't doubt at all that every person on this call had some tidbit to take away from what you shared. So we just really appreciate you on the Living Well Now team. We appreciate your leadership. We appreciate your servant leadership as a yellow, as a pearl. And we're just super excited about what you and your team have already accomplished and what you're going to continue to do. So thank you for being on the call today. Goodbye.
Thanks.
Take care.
Okay, bye-bye.